Hey, Billy with PowerCore 360 here today again with Greta. Today's going to be short and sweet. We're going to talk about exercises to hit harder in volleyball. And with that being said, we're going to talk about volleyball, but this could work for any overhand activity. Throwing a baseball, hitting anything overhead, hitting a tennis ball with a racket. The motion is very similar in terms of the exercises. They're going to be the same. The difference might be where's your arm at in space. But with that being said, there's a lot of different muscles there. Today we're going to start off and we're going to make this a series. And today we're going to talk about probably the most important muscles, which are the rotator cuff muscles. And really the rotator cuff, we're going to focus on two motions, two movements with the rotator cuff. And we're going to call them A, external rotation, B, internal. That doesn't mean anything to anybody. We'll show you what it looks like. So to start with, I'm going to ask Greta to go through and we're going to show you a beginning level exercise for the external rotators. So the first thing I'm going to ask her to do is basically put a band inside. I'm going to turn her to the camera for just a second. With this exercise, we want about an inch between the side of her elbow and the side of her body. We don't want the arm in there grinding away, so we're just going to hold it out there. Shoulders relaxed, we're going to stand tall, we're going to grip that tight. And nice and easy, all we're doing is taking the hand outwards. And this works on external rotation on the shoulder. Works the muscles on the back side. We're just going to repeat that. We're going to do 10 reps. As we do this, we're standing tall. It's working on all the muscles on the back side of the shoulder, which for most everybody tends to be weak. If you're a young athlete or if you're somebody in the fitness world and you're trying to build your rotator cuff, you're going to find that it doesn't take much resistance to work on these muscles. So we're just going to do 10 easy reps. The resistance ought to be light. I'm going to ask her, and I'm going to actually just turn her around, and I'm going to have her now put that in her left arm and do external rotation with her other shoulder. And so the elbow's out from the side, she's rotating away. And as she's doing this, basically all the muscles behind the shoulder that attach to the scapula and even the scapula to the rib cage, they're having to shorten and they're getting stronger as the arm comes around there. As her hand goes the opposite direction, it's actually stretching. And once again, really important for the health of the shoulder and then once again to hit harder. We can actually get both benefits at once. That's external rotation, okay? I'm gonna have her turn back around to the camera and now we'll put and that's actually a good position. I'll have her move over there and have you scoot back a little bit. And now we're gonna do internal rotation, elbow about an inch from the side of the body. We're gonna do the same motion, but now the resistance is actually resisting her hand coming into the body. And we're gonna let the arm go out and we're just working on rotation. So you want to keep that elbow an inch from the side. We don't want to let it get out here because it'll get out and get away from us and we won't really be using the rotator cuff muscles. As we're doing this now, we're working on the muscles on the inside of the arm and inside of the shoulder blade that are actually bringing the arm in. Once again, really important. These are going to be a lot stronger for the average person than the external rotators, right? So you can probably use a heavier band with this, but I'm going to tell you not to initially. We'd like to have kind of muscle balance. We'd like to have strength and symmetry balance between the external rotators, the first exercise, and this one. So instead of going to a heavy band here, wait and let the external rotators get a little stronger first. This is a nice, good, really good starting position because the shoulder's in a pretty stable position, pretty controlled position here, okay? So that's internal rotation. Now we're going to go to external rotation, and we're going to go into a position where the arm and shoulder are more like when they're actually swinging and hitting the volleyball. So I'm going to turn her here. I'm going to take her elbow here's shoulder level. I want her elbow just slightly lower than shoulder level. Elbow's at 90 degrees, good strong position of the wrist, and all we're doing is just externally rotating. It's the same motion as this, except now the arm and shoulder are in a different position. This is going to be much more similar to actually hitting the volleyball, hitting the tennis ball, throwing overhead. So now we're still working on these muscles on the back side of the shoulder. It's pulling the shoulder blade down, doing a lot of good strength work back here. And it's actually stretching some of the muscles on the front side of the shoulder. 10 reps once again. This position for the shoulder is a lot weaker for most people. And as you can see, she's doing this, her elbow's tending to drop. So I'm going to prompt her to keep that up. And I'm going to tell her to set the band down. I'm going to turn her around and I'm going to have her do the same thing. And instead of using a band, I'm going to give her a 1 pound weight. Doesn't matter what type of weight it is, it's a 1 pounder. We're going to do the same thing. I'm going to move you forward. Okay? And we're going to go into external rotation here once again. Elbow just slightly lower than the shoulder, and we're just going to rotate forward and then back up. I'm helping to cue her to keep this arm in line with her shoulder this way, And one of the biggest things that happens is people will cheat. The external rotator muscles might be really weak. They probably are for a lot of people. They will tend to start hunching up with their shoulder. So hunch your shoulder up for me, right? This is what you'll commonly see, and it becomes your upper trap doing a lot of the work. And we want this guy to chill out and relax. We're going to keep the elbow up just below shoulder level, about right there. And where she ought to feel the work and the tension is in here. The external rotator is coming down here, pulling and rotating the arm back. One more time. Okay. So that's the externals up and a little higher position, a little bit more functional. But once again, maybe spend a couple weeks doing the external rotation down here first before we go here. Okay. And now let's finish up with internal rotators. So we'll grab that band. And just like before now, instead of working on this, I'm going to actually put her shoulder in a little bit more functional posture. So I'll have her kneel and face that direction. Elbow, once again, is the same position, just slightly lower than the shoulder level. Grip that nice and easy. And all she's doing now is rotating her shoulder forward. Now the muscles on the front side of the shoulder blade are actually shortening, contracting to pull that arm down. We're doing 10 reps nice and slow. These are all slow movements. Later on we'll talk about speed, but right now this is just low-level strength. Now keep going, and she just made a nice correction. She caught herself, because one of the things that will happen is oftentimes the muscles on the front side of the chest are a lot stronger, and the elbow will creep forward a little bit. Here's her shoulder line. Now her elbow's creeping over there. I want her elbow back in line with that shoulder. Nice and slow, nice and controlled. Make sure she's breathing. And we're just going to do 10 reps, nice and easy, light band, something like that. Once again, upper traps relaxed, 10 reps, and we're breathing. Okay, awesome. So that is an overview of the first part of the series, just kind of focused on basic level rotator cuff exercises. You can use it in the fitness population, you can use it in the sports population, either way it works. That's it for today. Next time we'll come back and we'll talk about the next part of how do you hit harder, what muscles do you strengthen. If you like this, like us down below. If you want further information about our products, go to powercore360.com.